Así que vamos a escuchar a Pierre, lo recibimos con un aplauso. Pierre, por favor, please.
Okay, that's next, and then to go back.
This is for Mark.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Great, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for staying for this. And I apologize ahead of time, as I have been for years coming to these meetings, that I don't speak Spanish, and I keep meaning to learn it, and I haven't gotten there yet, but I will one day. For the better part of 2 decades, the newspapers and other forms of legacy media, particularly in this country, have faced unprecedented challenges to their traditional business models. Many have not survived. Most of that have made it, have done so through consolidation under large corporate umbrellas beholden to shareholders and bottom line profits. Very few independently owned newspapers, community newspapers anyway, are left in this country. My newspaper in Charleston, South Carolina, the Post and Courier, which my family has owned since 1895, is one that so far has made it. But it almost didn't. A few years ago, as profits continued to decline, several of my family members wanted to sell out, which would have left the community that we've served for 130 years without any independent media source. We agreed to just disagree, and we split up the company. My cousins took the non-media assets, which of course were making money, and I took the newspaper, which wasn't making money. So I'm still trying to figure that out. But being a believer in the importance of an independent press's role in a free democracy, I felt I'd made the right decision. My only challenge now was to figure out how to keep it alive. With the help and vision of my publisher, Pamela P.J. Browning, we believe we have found a path to sustainability that is through sort of a hybrid nonprofit model. So as we all know, big tech has dramatically shifted the traditional newspaper business model, with its 2 biggest players, Google and Facebook, now taking 70% of the advertising revenue that used to go to local newspapers. The impact has been severe. In the past 20 years, 43,000 newsroom jobs have been eliminated in the U.S. Newspapers in South Carolina and other markets, in South Carolina's other markets, the state, which is owned by McClatchy in our capital city, Columbia, has just 15 reporters left. The Greenville News, which is another major market in South Carolina, is owned by Gannett. It only has 7 reporters left. Other top 10 cities in our state, like Florence and Rock Hill, no longer have even a local editor. A second. Is that the right slide? Yes. In the early 20th century, the United States had some 24,000 newspapers. Today, barely 6,000 remain, and they continue to disappear at the rate of 2 per week. The result is the emergence of news deserts, areas with limited or no local news source. Of South Carolina's 47 counties, more than half of them only have 1 remaining news source. 2 counties have no news source whatsoever. In the gloom of this reality, we found both an opportunity and an obligation. But first, we knew that if we were to survive, we had to evolve with the times. Above all, we recommitted ourselves to producing excellent journalism. That sounds basic, but with the newspaper no longer being the major advertising vehicle it used to be, and with circulation declining, we knew that we had to provide content that our readers can't get anywhere else. So we decided that content would be king of everything we did. We would invest our resources into great journalists and producing great journalism. So we reduced our national and international news coverage. There are millions of sources for people to get that. And we intensified our focus on local issues, which we can do better than anyone. We committed to expansion. As newspapers across South Carolina were going out of business, we saw an opportunity to take our coverage and circulation statewide. Also, as the largest newspaper in the state, we felt a real obligation to try to bring journalism back to the news deserts that no longer have a paper to serve as their government watchdog. And if I can brag for a second on my newsroom, after the Post and Courier investigative reporting team won the Pulitzer Prize for public service in 2015, we had people from all over South Carolina asking us to bring our newspaper into their communities. So far, we've expanded our operations into 8 new areas through the state, adding 51 reporters and editors to the 87 we already had in Charleston, for a total of 138 journalists. However, as everybody knows, this is not cheap. Good journalism is very expensive. And with traditional revenue sources still shrinking, we knew we couldn't afford this kind of investment alone. So, we turned to our readers for help. We created 3 initiatives. Through our local community foundations, we created a philanthropic fund to help support the cost of our investigative journalism. We also established similar funds to which readers could donate to support reporting on the education and climate issues. We also began building partnerships with colleges and universities to give their journalism and communications students real-life experience and to help create a future pool of journalists. So to raise money for this new investigative fund, we launched a series in February of 2021 called Uncovered, in which we partnered with 18 small, independently owned newspapers, community newspapers throughout the state, and gave the support and resources they needed to investigate and report on government corruption that they saw happening in their small towns. We publicly announced that our goal was to raise $100,000 in 100 days, which seemed both risky and pretty much impossible. Unbelievably, however, we raised more than $500,000. It was shocking but incredibly gratifying to know that our community valued and supported us as much as they did. This slide shows the budgeted costs of the education lab that we wanted to fund for 3 years. We identified a handful of community leaders who cared deeply about education and we thought might be willing to contribute to our reporting. They contributed the full amount for the 3-year cost at $1.3 million. It's important, I think, to mention at this point that donations given to us are not given to us directly, but they are given to a community foundation which holds the money. To receive any funds, for us to receive any funds, we have to submit detailed invoices and receipts showing exactly what the money is going to, and the money has to go only to hard newsroom costs associated with our journalism, with the reporting. It's also important to note, I think, that we make it very clear up front to our donors, to our potential donors, that their contributions do not buy them any editorial favor. And just as we've always done, all have always done, with large advertisers who might expect favors, we let them know that we value our journalistic ethics more than we value their business, and we'll give them their money back if they don't like what we're doing. Rising Waters is the name we've given our climate reporting lab. Charleston is a coastal city, barely a dozen feet above sea level. And those of you who attended the IAPA General Assembly there in October 2015, in the midst of a hurricane, saw firsthand that widespread flooding due to sea level rise is an increasingly common reality and an issue of serious community concern. So people can choose to give either to the Rising Waters lab, as we call it, where they can give to the education lab, or they can give to the investigative reporting lab. We're also going to add an arts lab soon. We're in the process of putting that together because people have really demanded or asked that we increase our arts coverage. We've partnered with seven colleges and universities across the state, which provides our expansion newsroom with 37 interns and free office space in many of our expansion markets for an annual value of $430,000. So that's been a great process. We have these interns that we are able to give, their students that we're able to give real life experience to in a real newspaper. So they're getting hands-on experience, but we feel that what we're doing is growing homegrown journalists that hopefully will come work for our newspapers in the future. We've also been very successful with our grant requests from national sources like the Knight Foundation, which donated $900,000 toward our operations. We've also received the support of Google, Facebook, and the Pulitzer and MacArthur Foundations. From all of our local, state, and national funding sources, we've received a little bit more than $5 million of support across all of our newsrooms since 2021. We work with 4 community foundations across the state that receive our donations and provide us with the necessary fiscal oversight. And I'd also like to recognize our publisher, P.J. Browning, who's the one next to me, on the second from the right, she has been the mastermind and driving force behind this whole thing and these initiatives, and we couldn't have done it without her. And I was extremely pleased that the IAPA awarded its Executive of the Year award to PJ at the 2023 General Assembly in Mexico City. It was well-deserved, and it was a much appreciated honor. She loved it. We all did. That was wonderful. To recognize and increase this community engagement, we're also host regular events where we can interact with our readers on issues that they care about. They have the opportunity to sit down, talk to reporters, talk to our editorial staff about issues of the day that concern them. And I think it's been a greatly appreciated effort that has brought us closer together with the community and makes them feel that they're more a part of the news process. We also offer donors a regular email newsletter that profiles individual donors and shows exactly how and where their dollars are spent and the impact that their donations are making. And here are a few testimonials from our donors on why they choose to support us. And this is the impact our journalism is able to make with community support. This hybrid nonprofit model that we have chosen to embrace, it's not going to make me or future generations of owners of our newspaper rich. I don't take a salary anymore. We don't award dividends to our shareholders, but hopefully we have found a way to keep good journalism alive in South Carolina well into the future in a period of time when newspapers are closing all around us. So we feel that what we're doing was a better option than selling out to a big chain conglomerate, which would have gutted our newspaper and made the journalism from a boilerplate that comes out of their corporate headquarters. We think that we've got a good model that's sustainable and can keep us going or keep the newspaper going for generations. At least that's our hope. Thank you very much. That was kind of just a brief overview of this thing. It's a much more complex, topic than all of this. But I'm happy to try to answer any questions if anybody has any. And thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Pierre. Acá ya tenemos, we have a question here.
Thank you very much, Pierre,
Yes.
and thank you for coming here, because I
Thank
know
you.
you lost your flight and
Yeah.
you drove over 8 hours to come to the conference. Thank you so much, and for the efforts the publishing group is doing to support local journalism. That's encouraging. I'd like to ask you if you think there are other publishers in the U.S. That are following on your path towards this kind of efforts to support local journalism.
Yeah. There are a lot of these ideas we did not invent. They came, many of them, we followed the lead of the Spokane, Washington newspaper, which was kind of started this process. We changed it and tweaked it for our markets and our newspaper, but this is something that they had come up with out there, and it was working well. And I think there's a lot of other newspapers. People are doing the hybrid nonprofit model is becoming more and more common, though it's not widespread yet. We still have a lot of. I think we are considered, along with Spokane, to be one of the sort of pioneers in it. So we're helping lots of other newspapers start this up. But there's a lot of newspapers that are really doing interesting things to try to other tangential businesses that they are operating in order to fund their newsrooms, and so that they can continue providing great journalism. As we were talking last night, I think, for a minute about there's a newspaper in Marfa, Texas, that it's a very small, tiny tourist town in middle of nowhere, West Texas, and they have a coffee shop and cafe next door to the newspaper office, and it is a very popular cafe, and the profits from it all go to funding the newspaper's newsroom. And the newspaper it's known for its great journalism, its great writers, and people from way outside of their circulation area buy it and get it. So that's another strange model that's really worked out well.
Ya tenemos otra pregunta. Another question. ¿Está habilitado el micrófono? Sí. Adelante.
Yep.
Alejandro Alvarado. What's your cost structure? How many it's on donation, percentage donations, grants, and subscriptions? Do you have an idea more or less?
How many grants have we received, individual grants?
How many in terms of the revenue that you receive?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the structure?
Okay.
25%?
Oh, I see, I understand,
Yeah.
yes. Our goal will be 30%. If we can get there, ultimately, one day, that would be the goal, but we don't think it would get any higher than that. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to grow an endowment, a $23 million endowment, this will take a long time, that would fund us every year, provide 30% of the cost of the newspaper.
And do you have any section in Spanish that serves the Hispanic community in the state?
No, we don't. We've looked at it and talked about it for a long time, and we still may, but we haven't gotten there yet. We haven't yet, but it's something we've really been thinking about because the Hispanic population has grown tremendously in the past couple of decades.
That's right. There's a media that's called Enlace Latino North Carolina.
Yes.
They're based in Raleigh.
Right.
They have an amazing business model.
Yeah.
And you might want to get in contact. I can do that.
Yeah, there was, I'm trying to remember where else. I've just had a conversation with someone else who's telling me another great model. and it's not coming to me right now. But what is the name of it outside of Raleigh?
It's Enlace Latino,
Okay,
North Carolina.
okay, yep.
I'll send you the.
Oh,
I'll
that'd
send
be
you the
great.
information.
I would appreciate
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Okay, thank
Very
you,
good.
thank you.
Thank you very much, Pierre. Un aplauso para
Thank you.
Pierre. Muchas gracias.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.